Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Black and Gold Dynasty Show. I did a little hiatus last Wednesday, but tonight we will get back into it, talk some Steelers news, and a lot of quarterbacks that everybody's been talking about. So we will talk about that and a whole lot more on the Black and Gold Dynasty Show on the Triple B Experience. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Black and Gold Dynasty Show, a show on the Triple B Experience, my podcast channel on Wednesday nights. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please hit like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Get me some more views. Get me whatever I need to accomplish what I need to do in this lovely podcasting world. So it's going to be a lot of stuff going on. We're still in the off season. Lot of Steeler news. Some of it good, some of it's crazy, some of it's rumors. Maybe I'll get your guys' take on a lot of stuff because it is the off season, so I'm actually pulling a lot of news off of the wire. Some of it doesn't make any sense to me. And also too, I don't think any of it's ever going to happen, but you know what? It's the off season. That's why it's the off season. We sit and talk about stuff, we speculate, and we go from there. So let me see if I got any comments. Steeler Nation, good day, mate. Steeler Nation Australia. Mark is in the house. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Mark. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed to Steeler Nation Australia, Mark has given Steeler news from way down under every day, guys. He talks about the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's hyped, even in the offseason as we are. I'm hyped. I'm ready to get back on the saddle again and get to watching football on Sundays because now there's nothing to do on Sundays, and it's so not. It's shitty, people. It's real shitty. I'm not gonna deny it. I like to watch the Steeler football games like everybody else. Craig from Patton, multitasking as ever from the beautiful Patton, Pennsylvania. Craig, a longtime fan, longtime listener. Craig, I support you, brother. Thanks for popping on. Hopefully you guys have some Steeler questions, and let me get your guys' take if you guys are in listening to all this crazy quarterback controversy. Everybody's been talking about it in Western Pennsylvania. People are going on podcasts talking about who could be coming into Pittsburgh. And I have a list here that is a mile long. We'll also talk about some prospective draft picks tonight. If you guys have any questions and comments, I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Chad, thanks for tuning in. No, I don't think we're going to sign Brady, brother. I don't know. Timmy Palmer, thanks for tuning in. You know what, though? If Tom Brady was around about 2 years ago, could you imagine Tom Brady in the last 2 years with the Steelers organization, with the offensive talent that they had, minus Matt Canada? Because realistically, it'd have been Tom Brady guiding the Steeler offense, and maybe we could get that playoff victory that has escaped us here. So, yeah, that's pretty funny, Tom Brady. And you know what? I hate Tom Brady with a passion, but if he would have been Steeler, I probably would have loved him. That's how it is, though. I if they're not Steelers, I'm not going to respect them. Whatever. I'm not going to like them. You got to respect Tom Brady. But if Brady would have been a Steeler, by God, I would have been jumping on that bandwagon just like everybody else. Chris Anderson, thanks for tuning in. Okay, let me see. Craig, what do you got here? Here is the thing I'm hearing about. Coming in the quarterback, don't want to start, not taking a back seat to Kenny. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation in Pittsburgh media that the Steelers are going to stay with Kenny Pickett, haven't been around much. I hear you, Chad. But look, there's a lot of talk. I feel that the Steelers are going to stay with Kenny Pickett. His third year, he has a winning record as a Steeler. It's not like he's 4-12. Okay. Chris Anderson said, I heard the greatest quarterback of all time, Al Bundy, is coming out of retirement. Well, he did score 4 touchdowns at Polk High School. Just saying. 4 touchdowns. Yeah, there is just, well, it's the off season. So all these rumors and speculation, like, it's hard to come up with a lot of source material, but I go off the top of my head. I try to pay attention. I listen to other podcasts like my buddy Mark's, Steeler Nation Australia. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to it, please do, because Mark has a lot of interesting content about the Steelers, and he's a diehard from down under. And we got Steelers Realm podcast. They have there's a ton of Steeler podcasts out. Well, yeah, I think Bundy was a running back. I believe so. So, yeah, but I mean, let's get to, the quarterbacks that have been presented, lately, and Steeler fans have been talking about it. Hey, do we sign this guy, Mr. Russell Wilson, all rumored to be the next quarterback, of the Steelers? My take is, no. Russell Wilson got benched in Denver. He is not. Look, we don't need to have quarterbacks that have been benched or whatever as our starting quarterback. We need look. I know Kenny Pickett is not an elite quarterback by any means, but also too, we need a game manager like a Brock Purdy, and maybe Kenny with this new offensive regime. And he's got quarterbacking coaches, and I'm going to talk about that momentarily. Larry Stryker from Pro Wrestling Extreme Podcast. What's up? There he is, Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. If you guys want your wrestling talk, catch Larry and the boys all the time. They just did a show, so if you haven't subscribed to that show, please do. Yeah, Chad said the Steelers ain't going to spend $30 million on in the quarterback free agency period. I agree. They're not signing, and also too, everybody, has this guy, Justin Fields, in a Steeler uniform. Fans you got half and half of the fans going, oh, I want Justin Fields. You know what? No, I don't want Justin Fields. Justin Fields has just went on a podcast, on the Brown podcast, and stated that he wanted to remain a Chicago Bears. But also, guys, he also stated that one of the greatest places that he played at was in Askishore Heinz Stadium on that Monday night game when he saw all the terrible towels and stuff. It captivated him as being one of the best places that he ever played. We are not going to trade up. We're not going to. He's a second or third rounder. If Caleb Williams goes to the Chicago Bears, then whatever. Look, if we could get this guy here, Justin Fields, for a 6-pack and a 6-pack of Coke, or Iron City, and 5 pieces of pizza at Bob's Pizza, a proud sponsor of the Triple B Experience. You know what I mean? That could be our they could vie it out. Kenny and Fields, if you could get them at a good deal. I got some comments and stuff here. Let's see. Oh, hey, no problem, brother. No problem. Anytime. We also had that big review. If you guys want to catch in the archives, the mega cast with Steelers Realm podcast, Ralph Williams and Mark from Steeler Nation Australia, as we gave our review of the crazy 2023 season. So let me get to this one. What if the Steelers style? What if Tom Brady was with the Steelers? I don't think HR should. No. Well, they talked about retiring Bradshaw's number. Why don't they do that? I don't know. So I watch. I mean, I was a kid. I watched Terry Bradshaw's last game, man. His elbow was hung on with duct tape, and he beat the New York Jets with 2 touchdowns to Greg Garrity. And I was at the bar with my dad as a young kid, watching it at the Rose Inn. And yeah, I mean, the stuff that you can remember when you're a kid, when you get older, because I'm old now, it is crazy. But let's get back to the quarterback carousel that Steeler fans Steeler media, Steeler Nation have been talking about. Now, with Arthur Smith coming in, there has been a lot of talk, as a backup to Kenny Pickett, Ryan Tannehill coming in, knowing the system, at Tennessee. That was his best year. Took the Titans to the AFC Championship game. Could we get him, as a backup? And if Kenny doesn't produce, does Tannehill come in as a Steeler? Because we're gonna need a second string quarterback. You got to have second string quarterback, and you got to have sometimes 3 on the depth chart. We don't want to be the San Francisco 49ers in the championship game that had to have McAfee as the emergency quarterback. We don't need that. Chris Anderson said it would be smart, yes, to talk and re-sign this guy right here, Mason Rudolph. Yeah, and have him and Kenny vying for, supremacy behind center. We will see, though, when free agency market starts, if any teams out there, want to sign Mason Rudolph. That could possibly happen, guys. A team that would want a big-time – look, Mason Rudolph is a highly capable backup, big-time backup in anywhere in the NFL. I think that, he did the best he could, under center. He threw that bad pick against Buffalo, but honestly, our defense wasn't up to par anyway, and we have a rough time playing in playoffs and actually winning, so it's actually very, very hard. But if the Steelers do sign Mason Rudolph, you know what you're getting with Mason. Hopefully we can support him a little better, Steeler Nation, as we did as the last month of the regular season when we were resurrected called him a Messiah, and hopefully he was going to lead us to the promised land. It seemed like the offense kicked into gear when Mason was behind center. Seemed like everybody was flowing, but we shall see. Free agency will be up in a couple weeks, and it'll be game on. If the Steelers let people go, sign some people. They let some people go last week. The salary cap is at a high for the Steelers. Omar Khan is going to have to nip and tuck the salary cap to get everybody under. We're going to have to restructure the Cam Hayward contract. We're going to have to restructure, I bet you, TJ Watt's contract and Minka Fitzpatrick's contract. And probably Highsmith. All of that. We got to restructure that whole defense, because that whole defense is like almost $300 million, and we can't stop a leak at my house. So, but also, too, here's another quarterback that was under the Arthur Smith regime in Atlanta. Marcus Mariota's name had popped up in this quarterback carousel of maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers bringing somebody in to actually start or take over for Kenny. But right now, guys, Kenny Pickett is the number one quarterback in the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is everybody was talking about it. That's just the way it is. And I believe that's the way it's going to be going into the 2024 season. Now, let me tell you another dark horse. If they don't sign him, they put the franchise tag or whatever they do to somebody else down in Tampa, Baker Mayfield's name has been brought up. I'm not going to be whatever, but I kind of like Baker Mayfield. Now, the thing about it is with the Steelers drafting Kenny Pickett, okay, when the Cleveland Browns cut Baker, we could have got him for near to nothing. And with Baker Mayfield, if he'd have been quarterback at the Pittsburgh Steelers, we definitely probably would have been in the playoffs. And maybe, just maybe, he'd have got us over the hump to actually get us a victory in the playoff game, because he did beat us. Even though we beat ourselves in Ben's last playoff game, he still beat us. He was, I think he was a first down away from taking the Cleveland Browns to the AFC Championship when he almost upset Kansas City. So, if we would have got him, we would have got him economically sound, when the Browns released him. But now, I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot of high money. I'm just throwing names out there, everybody. So, and Chris says Baker Mayfield might not be a bad backup plan if they can't. Yeah. Well, if Baker would come in, Chris, Baker, I believe, could upset Kenny Pickett as a starter if they did sign him. Chris Ward, thanks for tuning in. I believe Baker could be, not a backup in Pittsburgh. He'd be a starter. Definitely be a starter. Let's see here. Craig says, I think Mason just may have been a little bit bitter for all that time. Yes, I agree with that. People would be bitter. I would be bitter. You try to overcome negativity, and when people don't believe in you, it makes something swell up in your stomach, and hopefully for you want a new setting. It's like a job when you're working for a company and you don't get respected. And then when you go and leave that job and you go to another job and you get respected, you get treated with dignity, it means a lot more sometimes than the money. Maybe he'll roll out and go somewhere cheaper just due to the fact it's a respect thing for him, Mason. I mean, I don't know. I think it's March 14th, I believe, is free agency, and hopefully we get some players. I mean, hopefully we sign some players. Would be get some good stuff there, and that would be totally awesome. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, that's all the quarterbacks I could possibly think of, and I can't see the Steelers drafting a quarterback in the first round. I can't see that happening. But as crazy as people have said that I am in my life, that could happen, but I don't see it happening. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers made some two moves on their coaching staff. They changed the role of the offensive assistant and hiring outside candidate per the team's website. Okay, guys, the Steelers have officially changed former quarterbacks coach, which / offensive coordinator Mike Sullivan's role to senior offense assistant, which they're adding job titles now to coaches in the Pittsburgh organization where they didn't have the Steelers coaching is a dollar general, not too many around Tomlin. Maybe Tomlin's figuring, look, he's got to have a little bit more assistant coaches. Keep Sullivan, because Sullivan did have a rapport, when he worked at New York. He still has a rapport with the offense. He was a prior offensive coordinator, and maybe more heads in the kitchen stirring up the ingredients to make the offense a success in 2024 with what the Steelers need. And after hiring Tom Arth as their new quarterback coach, the Pittsburgh Steelers retained Sullivan and made his role broader as they keep experienced coaching on their staff. This is a little different. So besides, Sullivan had two interviews as an offensive coordinator outside the teams, the Raiders and the New Orleans Saints, but he didn't get hired for either of those jobs. Okay. Now his relationship with Kenny Pickett should help Kenny grow and mature in this category of being a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback in year 3. He should progress a little more. And also, the Steelers have hired Phil Matuzik as their strength and conditioning coach. So hopefully he gets everybody in the weight room and gets the defensive line and the offensive line stronger to actually move people on both sides of the ball. That would be super duper great. The Steelers, you got to have a good core on both sides of the line, and the Steelers got to start moving people out of the way to clear up the lanes for the running attack, which Arthur Smith will be instilling into the Steelers. So, and he was also, Mateus was a strength and conditioning coach at Boston for the last 4 years. So hopefully he, like I said, he gets those guys in the weight room, because that's where it's at. The off season that you put into the weight room and the conditioning will transpire out on the field. So, Donnie Fulmer, Mr. Tap Out, thanks for tuning in to the Black and Gold Dynasty Show. Devil, what's up, brother? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Thank you so much tune into the Black and Gold Dynasty Show. So, yeah, I mean, it's just you want a strong line. So and also, speaking of offensive line, due to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Ray Filippola, okay, he was tossing out Spencer Anderson's name as a top option for the Steelers' right tackle job. So you can't. He said you can't rule out that 7th round pick heading into training camp. You can't discount Spencer Anderson at right tackle and Jones at left. because Dan Moore cannot play the right side at all, in my eyes. And they really, really liked what Anderson showed this year. So, and like Donnie Fulmer said, you got to be savages on the line. Starts with lifting the iron, and Donnie Fulmer would know because he trains every day and he's a brick shithouse. So, God bless you, Donnie, on that one. You know, Donnie knows about what the weights do to make you a stronger individual. So, but like I said, Spencer Anderson could be vying for a starting role this year. And it depends on what they draft in the draft. That's going to be huge. And you know, he has experience on all the positions on the offensive line, all 5 positions. And that makes you very, very vital for the Steelers when you can be a center, a guard, you know, in all those different positions. Chris says, if you can't win in the trenches, you can't get anything going. That's high school 101, and Donnie Fulmer can tell you. I mean, you got to win in the trenches. You know, and the Steelers on the defensive line side of speaking stuff has not been the strongest as it's been years prior. You know, when they had a good nose tackle. But Keanu Benton, hopefully, is, you know, going to be the stout of the line. Isaiah Loudermilk has not impressed me. Martavius Adams has not, you know, made me like, oh, so happy that we have him as a nose tackle. Hey, I love Cam Hayward, you know, Walter Payton Man of the Year and all. It's great. But I think that $22 million on the salary cap is going to, you know, we have to renegotiate, and he's going to have to. Does he want to, you know, retire a Steeler, or are they going to like slowly take him out? Like they told Troy, hey, thank you for your services, but hey, thanks, but you got to go, kind of thing. Because that would make a huge loss on the defensive line. And I know JT Toth of Draft 412 said realistically, there is no good defensive lineman to draft in the early rounds. There's a lot of linemen that you could pick up in the later rounds, but taking a first and second pick on a defensive lineman this year is probably not a good thing, you know, because they have we need we need something like this, people. We need, and I hope we do, we need a center, and that is Zach Frazier from West Virginia. Big, 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 big plus. That would be huge. Or the tackle from Georgia. Now, if we could get, you know, there's a lot of mock drafts, and mock drafts are like anything. It's like trying to date the homecoming queen, thinking that you're great. You know, that's, you know, everybody's an NFL mock draft analysis. But also too, Frazier continues to be most likely a second round pick, but because he's currently a number 50 overall prospect. But you never know. But the returns have been kinder to Frazier lately in the last week, because now it's getting close. So, and I guess in 4 consecutive mock drafts, Frazier has been going in the first rounds, as high as 25th. So, and but Matt Miller from ESPN has Frazier going to the Steelers in the second round, and in his mock draft. I'm okay, and I actually did a mock draft, and I picked Frazier as my first one at 51st. So I was okay with that. I really was. And if we got that tackle from Georgia on the other side of Broderick Jones, and like I talked about with Spencer Anderson, because Dan Moore is not a viable starter on the Steelers offensive line. I do not believe that. I mean, he just was the last graded tackle, I think, in the NFL on Pro Football Focus, and that is not where we want to be. We want to strengthen the offensive line for this new Arthur Smith regime, running the ball and play action. Eric Steele, what's in the house, brother? So, you know, thanks for coming on, Steele. But I do like that guy from Oregon. I'd be okay with the you know, with a center. I would be okay first or second. I mean, it's all speculation. We do need a strong center, because if we had a center, Mason Cole could be out of here. See you later, and I'm okay with that too. He you know, yep. O line. O-line it is. O-line. I'm all about the O-line there, Mark. A big center, like the Steelers need a center to transition, because in the 70s, you go from the 70s, you go from Ray Mansfield to Mike Webster to Damani Dawson, to those couple years, even we had Jeff Hardings was a good center. I'll give him props. And then you go right into Pouncey, and then that's it. Kendrick Green was not a good center. And Mason Cole has dropped off dramatically from the first year at Pittsburgh to the second year. We do need a center, and I hope the Steelers draft a center. And Steele, I was talking about quarterbacks, this quarterback controversy of everybody coming to Pittsburgh, like the Fields trade and Marcus Mariota, and now Baker Mayfield. If Tampa Bay doesn't sign him, could the Steelers pay for him? The Steelers, Steele, your Steeler football. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't paying big money for a quarterback. They're going to keep Kenny Pickett. I do believe that. And if Mason Rudolph, I was talking about, maybe he'll stay, but maybe he'll just say, see you later, and go to greener pastures. But realistically, there hasn't been any fish on the hook there for any teams that have been talking about it. But maybe people have clipped it close to their vest on what they want to do about Mason Rudolph. But if I was Mason, I would want to go somewhere else to be appreciated a little bit more. So that's what we were talking about earlier, Steele. If you have a comment, anything you do, because I know you know Steeler football and you like to comment, and stuff like that. And Steele says, if Powers Johnson is there at 20, take him. That's that big center from Oregon. Is that correct, Steele? Because I do have a lot of issues with I'm trying to know a lot more about the college players that are coming into the draft. And like I said, if you guys want to know more, go to Draft 412. JT Toth does all the draft stuff, and he'll be back on again. I believe he's going to be going down to Bradenton for the Pirates for a couple weeks. But when he comes back, I'm going to bring him on, and we are going to do another first-round mock draft with trades and stuff like that, because when he did it before. Okay, thanks, Steele. Yep, the center from Oregon. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, I definitely take that. Because it is what it is. So what's today's date? Today is February. I got these Steeler calendars, and I want to do a contest. I keep saying this, and I got to have Tammy, pull the thing, and I got questions. And today is the 20th. So, oh my God, this is, if anybody can get this one, God bless America. On this day, the Steeler trivia question is: the Steelers came out of their bye week in 2021 with a 15-10 win on the road against what division foe? Wow. Ooh, I'll give it to you one more time. The trivia question for tonight's on the Black and Gold podcast is: the Steelers came out of their bye week in 2021 with a 15-10 win on the road against what division foe? See if you guys can answer that question. And if you answer that question, you're a Steeler king of knowledge. So hopefully, if you guys I'll give you the Baltimore. No, but good try, Chris. Good try. Steele says Blake Fisher, tackle from Notre Dame. Okay, I'll keep him in mind. Okay, cool. Like I said, what team during a bye? 2021 15-10 victory on the road. And one more thing before we go, because he shows second round. Okay, second round still. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take the center in the first, tackle in the second, tackle in the first, center in the second, one or the other. You're absolutely right there, Eric Steele. He wins the Steeler knowledgeable hat. It was the Cleveland Browns. So yeah, I got this whole trivia thing from my stepdaughter. I got, and I don't do that enough. I need to. So yeah, I'm gonna rip that out. So, but yeah, Eric Steele got the question right. It was the Cleveland Browns. And thanks for playing, everybody. I do like to try to do some giveaways, and also I think in the Steelers when they do the draft, I am not going to be doing a show like we've had the last couple of years when we had a draft thing. I am going down to the draft party down at Stage AE with the Steelers draft party. They're going to have a lot of Steelers there. I'm going to have a couple cocktails and make some connections and try to get. My goal is to get a Pittsburgh Steeler on this show to talk football and chit chat about the Steelers. Bill, Zach, thanks for tuning in. So I will be doing that. I will put it out there. If anybody around here locally wants to go, you got to buy tickets. I think the tickets, you get a couple drinks. They have tiers. There's no way I could pay $25,000. I was looking to get a table, but it didn't come through for $1,000, and they would advertise the podcast down there. But it's going to be Thursday night, and it's so hard to get. Money's tight. You know what I mean? And putting a couple $100 to sit and watch a draft is kind of crazy. I think I'm going to pay the $99 to get into the event. I still will be able to rub elbows against some Steeler greats and see if I can get somebody on the show. So I will definitely try. I know we got we had some Steelers on when we do the mega cast through the Steelers Realm podcast, but my mission is to get a Pittsburgh Steelers on my show on my own, so I will try, and I'll keep trying to, for you guys to get a Steeler on this show. So, it'd be an honor to have a Steeler on the show and we talk Steeler football. But before we get out of here, a big thing. Do we, you guys can answer this. I'm going to say, yeah. I'm going to say, let's trade this guy right here. I'm going to say trade Dante Johnson. Trade him. Get a little draft picks. The receivers are plentiful in the draft. What's your guys' take on that? Would you sign Dante or would you trade him? I would trade him, get a draft pick. Hopefully we can get a veteran receiver in free agency at an economical price, because Dante with $18 million when he signed that contract was ridiculous. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't like that. And Dante, for what he got paid, he didn't produce. And he's getting to be getting to have that attitude like all receivers do in Pittsburgh. I think the receiver position is all divas-fied all the time. So anybody, before we get out of here, what is your take? Do we trade Dante or do we sign him due to the fact we will only have George Pickens going on his third year and Calvin Austin III and maybe Miles Boykin, because Allen Robinson has a high contract. They probably will cut him. Mike Stitt, thanks for tuning in. They probably will cut Allen Robinson with $11 million to go for that cap, to take that cap down. So, and probably Patrick Peterson will probably be cut, or if Peterson takes a dramatic pay cut, play his position, maybe a safety position for maybe $2-3 million. Take that pay cut, because I don't think anybody else is going to, sign him to big money. I think that was his last big contract before he rolled out, and then he could play podcasting with his cousin McFadden. I know they got a lot more listeners than I do, but hey, I just keep trucking along. So like I said, Dante, does he stay or do we trade him? Let me get some feedback here where I'm on here, but I also, Steele says, probably get a third round for him. Sign Tyler Boyd. I like that. Tyler Boyd has stated that he wants to come to Pittsburgh. If the deal is good, that would be great. Chris O'Hara, thanks for tuning in. Zach, thanks for tuning in. And I want to give a big shout out to Bob's Pizza, proud sponsor of the Triple B Experience. If you live in Indiana County, go get a Wapaho, get some slices of pizza. Come in a box now and tell Ted and Becky I said hello. Zach says cut Peterson. Okay, well, maybe if you keep Peterson for $2 million. Zach also says trade Dante. He's in the same boat I am. So yeah. Okay, well, I'll give you guys a couple more people putting their opinions out there, because I like to give everybody's opinion here. Do we trade? Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see. Well, I would trade him, like I said, for draft picks. Speaking of draft picks, I almost missed this because I try to be whatever. But here is the Steelers draft order right here. Steelers draft of 2024. Okay. Chris says the talking heads need to stop the veteran quarterback talk. The Steelers have said no veteran quarterback coming in. And Chris says, I trade Dante. Zach said he drops too many balls. So there we go. Steelers draft pick. You get the first round, second, third, fourth round via the Rams, sixth and seventh. First 3 rounds are set in stone, barring trade. Hey, Boothie, what's up? So, and also too, if you trade Dante and say you get let's see, like Zach says, say you get a 3rd round pick for Dante, so you got 2 third rounds. You can get a receiver. There is big time receivers in this draft. O linemen, corners, and receivers. I think we can fill our needs if they get these people that they need to do and pinpoint them into positions that we need. I want to see a center. I want to see a tackle. There's been, Steelers scouts have been looking at a 3rd down back, later on to, give Najee and Warren a rest. And speaking of Jaylen Warren, if anybody's into hockey, Jaylen Warren is going to the War Memorial, the Johnstown Tomahawks. I think it's March 20th, Thursday night. You could go down and see Jaylen Warren and get an autograph and talk to him. And, okay, let me see here. Zach says T. Higgins. Boothie says grab the big boy center. Steele says he would like a free agent quarterback. Zach says that receiver out of LSU. Yeah, there's tons of receivers. I would draft guys. I would draft a receiver in probably the 4th and 5th. If we got 2 linemen at 1 and 2, the 3rd pick to me, get a corner. But also too, this Cam Hayward situation. If they push Cam Hayward out, they're going to have to get a defense. Maybe they'll sign a defensive lineman in free agency. So maybe that, that would be, that would be something. That would be something. So I tell you, I mean, it's, you know what, guys, if free agency is coming, I'll try to bring as much information as I can with all this Steelers rumors. Like I said, it was a lot of talk, like Chris O'Hara said, enough of this quarterback craziness. Because, yes, I believe they're going to still stick with Kenny Pickett, as we discussed during this podcast show. I gave a whole bunch of options. I can't see any of them coming in. Oh, you know what? And I forgot, another quarterback I forgot was goddamn Cousins. I forgot Cousins. And there's no way that the Steelers are going to pay Cousins to come in. There's no way. He's coming from an Achilles injury. He's 36 or 30, going to be 37 years old. Yeah, Steelers are not going to pay for Kirk Cousins, so that's not even. Maybe that's why I forgot it, because I knew I have a better chance of seeing Jesus Christ and hit the Powerball than the Steelers would ever sign Kirk Cousins, because all these media guys are like, oh, Cousins can get us over the hump and this and that, and maybe he's not going to come. Maybe he can't come back from that injury. He's not like he's a spring chicken. So, and yes, Steele, you're absolutely right. It is a weak defensive line draft. And yes, and the reason why I know, because JT Toth told me, he was like, Bubba, Steelers can get defensive line in the later rounds to solidify that D line. And I don't know, Booth, what Cam is the linchpin of that defensive line, but with $20 million, he's going to have to take a big, huge salary cut. And I can't see him doing that. But also too, will the Steelers cut him if they couldn't afford him, being the winner of the Walter Payton Man of the Year? That would send some backlash, because people would be upset about the Steelers cutting the Walter Payton, Man of the Year. So well, I heard Y.A. Tittle's coming back still. Steele says, I heard they're restructuring Johnny Unitas to resurrecting Johnny Unitas and restructuring Johnny Unitas to quarterback the Steelers. Yeah, he's in the hospital. Well, that was probably the biggest blunder in Steelers history anyway, cutting because when they had Johnny U, they didn't know what they had, and then they cut him. So I mean, and they had Len Dawson too. Could you imagine? Could you imagine having Johnny Unitas back in the day? Well, we didn't have. They will restructure Cam's contract. I hope you're right because it's a weak defensive line, but also too, there has been speculation that the Steelers were looking to sign that big defensive lineman from the Ravens. His contract is up. Do the Steelers pull the trigger and have like one big signing this year? Would it be a defensive lineman? I think it could be. It might be. I would take that. So okay, Craig. Oh, thanks, brother. I've been slacking a little bit, but I do appreciate the support. I try. You know what I mean, Craig? I mean, and you've been here with me from the start, man. So I appreciate you, coming on and giving your, comments and questions, and hopefully I answer them to the best of my ability. Yeah, I mean, doing these podcasting stuff is not easy, but I enjoy it. Hopefully one of these days, one of my shows go viral, and then me and my wife can go take a vacation and build a house down in the Bahamas and go from there. Zach Fletcher Cox. I think maybe he's a couple years too late. Zach says Tommy Maddox. Yeah, Tom. Hey, man, he was pretty good. Tommy Maddox has the greatest Steeler comeback victory ever in Steeler history. Oh, thanks, Mark. You do a great job too, brother. Like I said, everybody, please subscribe to Steelers Nation on YouTube. You get on YouTube, you want to hear Steelers daily talk. He's talking about the Steelers daily and his hatred, his pure fucking hatred for the Cincinnati Bengals. Mark hates the Cincinnati Bengals with a passion. Like I hate the Ravens and the New England Patriots. But if you guys want to, catch another podcast on YouTube, man, he would greatly appreciate it. He's a diehard Steeler fan from down under. And one of these days when he comes over, we're gonna drink a beer together, man, and we were talking about maybe training camp. So if anybody ever wants to go to training camp with me and hang out with Mark, yeah, he hates him. He hates him. Yep. I hate him too, brother. I hate any team from the AFC North that ain't the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep. I agree, brother. I totally agree. Lakin, thanks for tuning in. So everybody, like I said, next week, hopefully, Craig is with you, Mark. He hates him too. So hopefully next week I'll have more Steeler talk. A lot of rumors. That's all we got until free agency. So last week I took off because it was Valentine's. I said Veterans Day. It was Valentine's Day, and I could not have a podcast on Valentine's Day, or my bags would have been packed out on the porch. But we'll be back. We're back on track now. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully we have a couple more mock drafts before the draft. And like I said, if anybody wants to go down, Boothie, if you want to go down this thing, Steele, if you guys are around, you guys want to go down and hang out at this draft thing at Stage AE, let me know, because I am going, because hopefully in a couple of years, the Steelers have signed, before I get out of here, they have signed to actually try to have the draft, I believe, 2026 or 2027. And that'll be good. And I'll definitely be going to that. So, I just got to get more information and get my tickets for the Draft 412 draft special. So if you guys want to go, let me know. So everybody, thanks. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please hit like and subscribe. Make this show go viral. And then, like I said, I could buy a little bit more groceries this week. Because everything costs money. I just bought a bottle of Heinz ketchup for $6. It's crazy. It's unreal. But also, too, Friday night, I will have the Mania Mega Cast show where we're going to do some WWE picks, an elimination chamber from Mark's home country of Australia. That'll be the WWE pay-per-view Saturday morning at 5 a.m. in America. So, okay. Let me know, Booth. So, Okay, everybody, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. All you wrestling fans and pulp culture gurus, hang with us Friday night at 8, special time at 8 o'clock. We will have our picks with the guys who come on. I haven't seen them in a while. We're going to shoot the shit. And yes, for the chamber. Oh, that's awesome. They'll have a good time. Oh, that'll be a good pay-per-view. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Please hit like and subscribe to the Triple B Experience, my podcast channel. Also, you can listen to it on Spotify. And if you need a beer, you go to Indiana County, you go out to Alley Cat Beverage and listen to this lovely commercial here as I get it. So here we go. Proud sponsor of the Triple B Experience.
There's a new cat in town. Formerly known as Clymer Beverage, the newly remodeled Alley Cat Beverage is located in the heart of Clymer. Still carrying all of your traditional beverages, Alley Cat Beverage also offers all of the newest flavors, brands, and novelties, including slushies and popsicles. From the gridiron to the back porch swing, Alley Cat has your favorite beverage in stock and ready for any occasion. Stop in and see the new cat in town. Back the alley where all the cool cats go. Alley Cat.
Alley Cat Beverage, proud sponsor of the Triple B Experience. I haven't got any beer out there lately because my refrigerator is stacked. So I'm going to have to get some people to help me drink it because I can't drink it. But hey, before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to, I got an interview with Dominic D'Angelo. It's on the podcast. Great guy, the host of One of a Kind podcast with RVD. Ralph Williams, Sports Talk. Catch him with that. Like I said, JT Toth, Draft 412. He does the Steelers, the Pirates, Penguins. He does hockey talk, baseball talk, Steelers stuff. Special field correspondent. I'm trying to get advertise everybody as I can. Special field correspondent, Shane Stodmiller's show, Big 12, West Virginia football he talks about. He looks like he's going to kick somebody's ass every time I post this thing. His shows are on Thursday nights. Give him a plug, man. He talks college football if you like to hear college football in the Big 12. And like I said, our boys, Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk, Larry, JJ, and Reese in the house. And here, the kid is a 13-year-old WWE prodigy. He'll be on Friday night with Larry, too, is Buckle to Buckle with Kal-El. He's, getting back on the podcasting thing. He's been under the weather lately. And last but not least, or one of last but not least, is NFL Elite Banner with Freight Train and the smartest man in Philadelphia, Rich Smoke, every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Big shout out to the boys, from the panel. They got their own podcasting show. Like I said, my podcasting tree is way better than Mike Tomlin's coaching tree. And also, if you guys, subscribe to Steelers Nation Australia, thanks, Mark, for popping in tonight and hanging out and giving some stuff on the show. And also, if you want to, see Steelers Realm, those boys right there for more Steeler content, catch them over on Steelers Realm. So everybody, I appreciate you guys all tuning in. I'll see you guys next week with some more Steeler talk. Go Steelers. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll be back Friday night at 8 o'clock for all you guys that love wrestling and love me hearing me shoot the shit. Get ready Friday night. So, everybody, here we go. Take care. Have a good night. See you later.